Very good read. Very good read indeed. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Well, hello. Welcome to Genma the Samurai's Q&A, where I answer your questions as you had done in the previous video. So, without further ado, let's get this going, why don't we?
Snivy Cyndaquil asks, do you love me?
Yes, Snivy, I do love you. As a friend.
Why the name Genma?
Story time! So for all of those who are not acquainted, I am in the process of creating a webcomic called Song of Rebirth, in which case the main character is a samurai named Genma. So yes, Genma is not my real name. However, if you are interested in the webcomic, it is down in the description, so you can go check that out.
Zelda or Mega Man for favorite game series?
Tough pick. But if I had to choose, I'd go with Zelda, just because it's a series that is closer to me personally, and I grew up with it, and it's something that I really enjoy. Though if I wanted something to be challenging and fun that I could just play casually, I would definitely go Mega Man. But if I had to choose between the two for my all-time favorite, I would definitely choose Zelda.
Will you come over here?
Where do you live? Maybe someday. I have no idea when, if so.
Will you sing us a song?
If you're strong, you can fly. You can reach the other side of the rainbow. It's alright, take a chance, 'cause there is no circumstance you can't handle. When you use your mind, sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom.
Why do you like Poof Jesus?
Okay, so to answer your question about Poof Jesus, is that she is probably the best fish out of water character I've seen, or one of them. She's so entertaining in how she doesn't understand emotions and stuff. And it's been done before, but I've never seen it done so comedically entertaining with the rest of the cast of the game. Maybe it's most of the cast of the game that makes it better. It's also mostly just, I find it entertaining just pointing out the Jesus parallels, really more than anything. It's just fun to do. You know, like the whole walking on water thing, or the snake, or just, you know, a being in a human body trying to save the world. I don't know. It's funny to point out to me. I don't know. I enjoy her as a character though, and yeah. So there you go. Plus, she is attractive in a way that an anime would be. So there you go.
Ash to Ashes asks, what is your least favorite color?
I'd have to say my least favorite color is brown.
What is the meaning to life?
42.
What is your favorite class? RPG question, not like school stuff, question mark?
Favorite class? I'd probably say Thief, because they're kind of like ninjas, and ninjas are awesome. Plus, I think they class up, at least in Fire Emblem, to like assassins and stuff, right? And those are pretty much ninjas, so I'd probably go with that.
Do you like people called Dan?
Well, I do like Game Grumps, and one of them is named Dan, so I would say yes. I do like people who are named Dan.
What is your favorite race? RPG question, not racist?
Elves, probably, since they probably loosely remind me of Zelda, because pointy ears, even though they're not elves and they're Hylians, but you get the idea. So anyway, next.
What is your favorite race? Like people, cars, faster cars, not racist, question mark?
The pod race from Star Wars Episode 1 is my favorite race. And I actually kind of say that completely, like, just not even ironically. It's the best part of that movie, and it actually led to a pretty cool video game. I think I want to say more specifically the video game than the actual movie, because it does go on a little bit too long, but it's a cool idea, and I like it. And I'm not really one for actual, like, races. Like, it's okay to me. I'm not really a big fan of car races. So, if you guys are into that, there you go. Anyway.
What is your favorite race? Racist.
Blasians. No, but in all seriousness, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry everyone. I would probably say Asians, probably. If we're talking, like, attracted to, I guess. Probably that, yeah. That's still somewhat not a nice thing to ask, but there we go. Okay. Next question.
Preston Rizzo asks, Will you reveal your true form?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Stephanie P asks, why do you start doing YouTube?
So I want to say I started doing YouTube probably around 2014. During that time period, I was with Ink Blazers, which was this website that hosted a lot of webcomics, and I was uploading a lot there. I also was in homeschool at the time, after being in public school for like a number of years. So I had quite a lot of free time while I would work on comics. I would often listen to a lot of Let's Players, and in particular, one of my favorites was Markiplier, and he was really, really inspirational to me at the time, just on the basis that he was just such a good person. Like I know he acts like an idiot, and I realize that him as an entertainer doesn't appeal to a lot of people in a lot of ways, because he acts similar in a lot of ways to PewDiePie, but at his core, he's a really great person, and a lot of his success is really more due to how good of a person he is, rather than, at least I would like to believe, is more due to how good of a person he is, rather than, you know, per se, entirely to what he does. Because when I watched him, he did a lot more like horror stuff, and he like reacted, and he gave like a lot more, you know, like review thoughts to things, and I really, really liked that. And he also was my gateway to actually really like seeing horror games, because I can't handle them. If you guys have seen my Five Nights at Freddy's 4 thing, I can't handle them very well. So it was fun watching him do his stuff and give his opinion, because I had no idea anything. And yeah, I don't know, I really enjoyed watching his videos of that. And so yeah, I really like Markiplier. He's cool. And so I think at some point I was going, you know, I kind of want to do some YouTube stuff, maybe on the side. I just do a few Let's Plays, and immediately what came to mind was Golden Sun, because I wanted to do games that no one else really did, which of course is detrimental to views. So I'm doing more well-known games now, which kind of goes against how I started. Maybe in the future, as I get more viewers, I can start to kind of dip back into, you know, games that you guys don't know and stuff. But yeah, but at the moment, yeah, you know, but I think I really started uploading videos around the time I found out my friend Ash was also doing YouTube, and we started doing some stuff together, and it was a lot of fun. I think it was Minish Cap Versus that really kind of like kicked me into just, I want to do more, and it was great. So yeah, anyways, really long response for that question. That's just kind of what let me into it. It's just Markiplier really inspired me, and just talking to my friend Ash, and we just really we're just YouTubing it, and we were having a lot of fun for a bit, you know. And I've met people now that have helped to sustain, you know, like you guys, the fans, Snivy, Blaze, all of you guys, thank you. Anyways, next.
Who are your favorite YouTubers? Doesn't have to be just YouTube gamers, question mark.
Okay, so kind of back on topic a little bit. I just like with the last one. My favorite YouTuber, though, in general, would probably be JonTron. I was just really a big fan of. He is so funny. I just can't get over it. I love his sense of humor. If you guys can see, I act a little JonTron-y. It's just because that's totally my sense of humor. It just is, you know. So I really like JonTron, and yeah, and probably underneath him would be Game Grumps. And when I said Markiplier earlier, I don't watch his stuff as much as I used to, because he does a lot more goofy, crazy stuff. But I do still watch him on occasion, just, you know. But in particular, my favorite YouTuber, definitely JonTron. So there you go. Next one.
What do you do in real life when you're not doing YouTube?
Well, if you really want to know, I'm the author of the webcomic Song of Rebirth and Blados, Adventure Across Reality. You can find both of them down below, and it's on tapastic.com. You can read it for free. It's awesome. You can just go there, and yeah, it's just stuff I do. I haven't updated either of them in a while, but I am working on them, so there you go.
What is your perfect pizza?
As far as pizza goes, I'm actually pretty vanilla. I just like pepperoni for the most part. I don't know. It's fast to eat. if you like start putting like too much meat or anything, it's just a little bit too hard. I'm not like big on like veggie pizza either. It's veggies in me. I mean, if it shows way a little bit, my bad. I'm not that big on veggies. I probably should start, but yeah. So there you go. Next.
Golden Tails Geek asks, "Hey buddy, what are your thoughts on Chrono Trigger? It's my fave game ever, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you haven't played it, I'd recommend getting the DS port."
Oh, you know, it's only like one of my favorite games ever. Actually, no, I definitely love Chrono Trigger, and it's a really good game. I really like it. It's probably like I have a hard time like really saying what my favorite RPG is because I played so many, and a lot of them do kind of like reseed in the back of my mind as I play them. It's probably up there with Golden Sun, definitely above Second Decisive 3, but that's also pretty up there. And just, yeah, I really like Chrono Trigger. It's really awesome. I had to actually talk my friend Snivy Cyndaquil into playing it for his first time on live streams, and it's been fun watching him do that. You know, it's just been chill watching him play and all that stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I'll probably play it on Genma to Ashes eventually, I was thinking, because that would probably be more fun to like show that to people than for me to just play it. And because everyone's done it, like a lot of people played the game and they just play it and they're just like, yeah, we know this, you know. So I don't know, we'll see. So there you go. All right, next question.
Donald Gamer asks, "Advice for recording?"
Okay, so for me, I use OBS to record and stream pretty much. Okay, so guys, if I read off this for this one, it's just because of like specific things and I can't really heart it very correctly. So for like this kind of advice, I kind of want to read what I type because a little bit more specific of what I think about this. So so for me, I use OBS to record and stream pretty much all my gameplay footage since the program is free. Now I have a job now, so I could buy things. But for the longest time while I've been doing this channel, I've been doing it pretty much just completely freeware. Well, I guess there was fraps stuff about that. So in general, yeah, I use OBS now for pretty much like almost everything recording wise. Is it a good thing or bad thing that I do that? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. That's just what I do. Just because you can like do stuff and it's good for just setting things up. Now, is it like the way to make the videos turn out the best? Not necessarily, but it's quick and it's efficient, and that's something I like when I make these videos because I spit out a lot of them and I don't really like get any revenue from it, so I don't really have as much time as some other YouTubers to really dedicate. So quick and efficient, but good. Yeah, quick and efficient is the key thing for a lot of the things I do. Now in terms of actually recording and all that stuff, I try to do it in a nice and quiet environment, but that's kind of hard to really say for a lot of people. I'm lucky enough to have like parents who just kind of, you know, they let me do my thing a lot of the time. They interrupt, but they you know, they don't really like bother me as much as like some other families would, and I know that can be hard, especially for people who have like really large families. I have a friend, a sneaky guy. He does a lot of videos that just straight up have no commentary because he doesn't have a lot of time to really actually to do commentary. So just an example. I hope it was okay for me to share that sneaky guy. I just using you as an example. I didn't say your name, so at least it's that. You guys can check him out though. He does deserve some support. I really liked what game he's playing. Anyway, back on topic. So I mean, I will try to let my parents know if I'm like recording and stuff, but I also know some parents aren't as understanding, as I said. So yeah, that's just me letting you guys know. So anyway, I guess on to the next question.
Favorite animus?
So my favorite animu, and I'm assuming you're meaning like actually anime that I like, or do you mean like the characters? Because we made the joke thing here. I'm gonna go with anime. So my favorite anime, some of this is updated kind of more recently on shows I watched. Probably FMA Brotherhood is definitely still number one. Trigun is up there. It's up there. I don't know what my ranking is with these ones, but the ones that immediately came to mind were kind of like FMA Brotherhood, Trigun, DBZ, and Fate Zero, actually. I mean, like, I know Fate series isn't that great, but Fate Zero is really great. If you guys have not watched Fate Zero, it is probably one of the best prequels to, like, anything I've seen. It takes a concept from the original thing and goes the extra mile with it, and I really like it, and it actually goes a direction that makes more sense, to the point that adaptations of the original have gotten backlash from what I've seen, because it's just so vastly different in tone and way that it does things. So, I mean, I suppose to some extent I would say probably watch other Fate stuff before Zero, but you could totally do Zero, and enjoy it. But anyways, and if you don't like Fate Stay, you'll probably like Zero. You'll probably like Zero, because it's very different from Fate Stay Night. Anyways, back onto the next one.
Will you do more top 10s?
I'm not sure if I'm gonna, like, win what I'm gonna do regarding top 10s, because, I did that as part of, this, like, sub-series of videos that, like, I only did one installment on so far, and it was called Hey Listen, where I talked about Zelda stuff. I hope to do more in the future. I just have not had any real burst of inspiration for, like, anything yet. Like, I had a few ideas off and on, but, hopefully I'll be able to get another one out soon. But as it is, yeah, I understand. I haven't done one in a while. I personally, like, when I watch them, now I know a lot of you guys will enjoy it, and I don't mind making it. That was kind of almost fun to make, but it's kind of, to me, top 5s are not, like, they're like anime, because, like, a lot of the time, I mean, I know it sounds harsh, a lot of the time I don't really, like, it doesn't feel very authentic if someone can, like, actually organize their opinions on something by, like, a number thing, because, to me, like, I have too many things that I like equally, but in different ways, and that's where it kind of gets hard, especially when you're talking, like, Zelda, in a lot of ways. And then there's other cases where it's stuff like, oh, favorite weapons. It's like, you got the Master Sword, and then you got, like, a ton of little knives or whatever that, like, don't... I mean, I guess you could say the Fierce Deity Sword, but that's part of the mask, so then that's still kind of... It's just me trying to figure out what I could do stuff with. So, I don't know. Maybe in the future. We'll see. I have to see the demand, but more I have to get, like, an inspiration for it, because, like, I have to know what I'm making the video of, because I don't know what I'm doing with it, you know what I mean? So, anyways, next one.
Why is the sky blue?
I don't know.
Will you marry me?
No.
Advice for drawing.
So, this is another one where I'm just gonna have to be reading off the thing, guys, so just to let you know. So for me, I feel the most important thing is to read a lot and watch a lot of, for me as anime and read manga and stuff. For whatever art style you're doing, I feel it is very good to kind of immerse yourself in a lot of other people's stuff. Now, I have heard the argument that you could definitely end up picking up people's mistakes artistically by doing so. But to me personally, I felt it actually worked out better in the long run on the basis that art has been around for a long time. You know, a lot of people do different stuff and they know different techniques. It's a matter of what you do with the techniques and where you take it that really matters. Now, of course, you have the more experimental stuff. I am being kind of crazy with Song of Rebirth because it's almost entirely cross-hatching. Like, it's just there's no pencil shading at all. It's all straight up line shading, and that can make it look really messy. Thankfully, I found a way to make it look a lot better than, say, back when I did it on Ink Blazers. But it definitely is a thing. So just there you go, a small tangent. But in terms of general anatomy, I find the best thing to do is probably to just find someone who is willing to let you just draw their face, or just go to an art class that teaches you to do contour, because contour is probably one of the more important things if you're wanting to do stuff like anatomy. And this is where it just gets really, this is a frustrating explanation, but it is the true explanation, so please don't scoff at it and say, oh, it's not helpful. It is incredibly helpful. Just draw. because that is just draw. Like whatever you want to draw, calm down, look at it, and I mean actually look at it. Do not think about what's there. Look at what's actually there, and try to draw it. And this is where it can be very frustrating. Is that where this thing called right brain, left brain comes in. It's kind of this complicated thing where essentially right brain is your kind of more creative side, left brain is your more mechanical thinking side. And at least I'm pretty sure it's a very proven concept where you essentially you want to just kind of tune out your thinking thing, because you logically are going to assume things because of the way you know things, and that's going to butt heads with what you see. And so that's where, when you start to draw, it's very important to do that. Now, in my case, I will admit it's kind of hard for me to really give a lot of advice, because and I don't mean this in an egotistical way. I've been said that I'm just gifted with this stuff, because I have a tendency to just kind of, I have a very good muscle memory. Like, I could play a game, and Ocarina of Time, I could probably almost do it blindfolded, and that has to do with my muscle memory. And this definitely applies to my artwork, where I have drawn characters enough times that I could totally just sit up and talk while I'm continuing drawing. Now, thankfully, I would have to look down again to make sure that I'm not screwing up, but I could definitely do that for like short bursts, because that's just something I can do with my muscle memory. Not everyone has that, and it's hard to say, so that's why it can be hard for me to really talk with people about doing this stuff correctly. So that's why I'm saying the right brain, left brain thing will help. Hopefully you'll be able to train yourself to be able to do that. I remember as a kid, I think I just accidentally kind of figured that out when I was just trying to draw Ocarina of Time, and I remember I was just drawing like a little stick figure thing, and then I actually went and looked, and I was like, going, wait, no, that ain't no stick figure. And then I like actually drew a little outline. He looked like a fat little kid, but I actually, it's all observational stuff. You just gotta learn to stop thinking about it and actually see what you're trying to draw. If that makes any sense. That's kind of what I'm trying to say, artistically speaking. So, yeah. Anyways, next question.
Why do you have more than 2 ears?
That's the thinker.
Why am I writing this?
I don't know.
Who am I?
I don't know.
What am I?
I don't know.
Favorite music genre?
J-pop and instrumental music.
What am I fighting for?
Lucrezia!
Anime Acacia asks, how did you come up with the plot and storyline for Song of Rebirth? Trying to make a strong plot for anything feels like the most frustrating thing in the world to me. What are your key points and advice when it comes to art?
Okay, so Song of Rebirth, specifically, I want to let you guys know, I've been working on this comic for like 8 years or something like that. So it was around 7th grade, I had just finished another little comic I was doing. Again, this is back when I was first concept for these comics, and they're not very great. I probably never released them, but basically, when I first came up with this comic, I just now making this realization that I think I have a tendency that when I get really into a comic, for some reason I think of the name of the comic first. And that's the really weird thing with my mind process, is that like I kind of have a vague concept, make a title, and then I take the title and then I build a world. So I'm weird like that. That's not a traditional way of doing stories from what I know, nor would I really say that's per se advised, because it's still too vague of a direction once you have a title first. And then in some cases, you know, you could retitle things. In fact, I will admit it, a flaw with Song of Rebirth that I will hope that I am mending a bit, that I will openly admit, is that, you know, Song of Rebirth is more plot first, concept second. Thankfully, I'm trying to integrate second, you know, so now it's up to the point where it's more like, I would still say probably plot first, but then character development is second, and third one is concept. because I found in more recent years that having really good characters in a plot is very important. And in many ways, it probably should be first. In some cases, though, I don't know. We're gonna see how this goes as I get this continuing forward, and this will continue more into it when I answer another one of these questions. But anyways, yes, so basically just when I came with the concept, I thought of the name, and then I thought of the name in the magic system, because I had that in a previous comic that I did, and I basically just did that, but I like applied the do, re, mi, fo, so, la, ti, do thing to it, and I basically just added an element to each one of those, and yeah, that's basically like what I did there. So then from there, I think I designed like a character for each element, and after that point, I just went and started drawing it, and it was crud. But now I'm making something out of it, and there was a decent amount of potential and uniqueness to it that that is why I've stuck with it for so long. So there you go. If you guys were curious how I came up with it, was the title, really. And I'm amazed that no one's used it for like anything. I mean, it's the name of a soundtrack for like a video game. That's it. And there you go. So, cool. I'm happy with it. So anyway, next one.
Zeth Aqua asks, why haven't you continued Blados in Song of Rebirth? I know you're off from school.
So, when I finished Chapter 2 of Song of Rebirth, I said I would take a month off of a hiatus so I could plan out the next 7 chapters, roughly. I think it was 7, right? Actually, I think it was 8. It was like 8 chapters that I need to plan. Yeah. So, classes and YouTube really ended up making that impossible to do. And when I say planning it, is that, to me, this is the most boring part of writing a comic, and that's the rough draft. So luckily, I've redone the first chapter of Song of Rebirth so many times that it pretty much is just an existing rough draft at this point that I've just burned into my skull. So when I did the first 2 chapters, I was able to just go straight into it, and I just did it, and it's gotten positively received from what I've seen. But going here forward, especially into the first arc, as I've been revisiting it, there are a lot of problems. So I really do need some time to actually look over, see what needs to change, and hopefully I can keep the same resolution at the end. And there's some things with this comic that, I mean, I definitely was inspired by a lot of things when I was younger, to the point that it kind of, at this point, I really need to look over those inspirations and see if I can make them better. If you know what I'm talking about, you know, because, yeah, that's just a thing. This comic was very inspired by, I want to say more specifically, in terms of the entire comic as a whole, Fire Emblem was a very big one. To the point that this kind of very first arc, looking back on it, is vaguely similar to the plot of one of those games. And so I need to kind of look over and try to change what I can to make it more, you know, different and unique. A lot of the structure is going to be there, and it's a plot that's been done before, so I'm not too worried about that. And I mean, I'm being open about this, and it's probably being risky saying something. I hope people, you know, but it's something that I'm just openly going to admit that when I was younger, I definitely did. I love that, so I have to go and make it not so similar. Hopefully I can make it still roughly the same, and hopefully I can fit it into 8 chapters. That's a big one. That's a thing that's going to be hard to do. But yeah, the first 2 chapters are like fairly solid because it's just nice and simple. But then immediately once we kick into this arc, it's going to get crazy and it's going to get hard to follow. Because when I was younger, I just did things. I drew a thing. Everybody. Okay, you know, I probably offended someone somewhere. But Yeah, so it's a thing. I have to fix it. So there you go. And as for Blados, when I have the time, I work on it. That's just kind of what that comic is to me right now. I'm just, it's there. It's full color for one. I mean, it takes slightly less time than the Song of Her Birth page, just because the Song of Her Birth pages are like 11 by 17 paper. But the Blados pages, though, I need to do the same thing, because these last few pages I just drew. I did not do a rough draft. And this is going to be a huge problem down the line with that one, because I upload them so rarely. Meaning, I can forget things within 2 pages. That's bad. That's really bad. So I don't want that to happen, but I still have to make Song of Birth a focus, so I need to actually go and rough draft Blados chapters before I actually start working on them. So it's just time, you know. It's when I have the time for this stuff, you know. So yes, and I'm off now. I'm basically taking this semester, at least this semester, off of college, so I'll have a lot more time to work on this stuff and to be able to upload stuff more consistently. I just need to put less on my shoulders, I guess, as far as YouTube. Not that I'm going to produce less content, I'm just probably going to do like one less live stream a week, if you know what I'm talking about, because, yeah. So, anyways, that's all I really want to add about that. I kind of expanded into different territories with that one, but it's just to answer your general questions there. Time. Anyways, next question.
Ash to Ashes asks, what do? Alright everyone, this has been a fun Q&A. I don't know what that last one was. You don't know what that last one was. I don't know what that last one was. But it's alright, you know? This was a fun Q&A, and I had a lot of fun making this. It's going to be a lot of editing. I hope this video isn't going to be like 40 minutes. But probably is going to be, so we have to deal with that. But either way, I thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was a lot of work making this video. But I just wanted to do this to appreciate you guys, you know, as my fans. Like, I could have just done a simple thing where I just could have, like, just answered it, but I wanted to do something fun with it. So, yeah. Just want to let you guys know, I really care about a lot of you guys. You guys are all awesome, and, yeah, I don't know. So, I'll see you guys later, and, yeah, just keep being awesome. That's all I ask, and I will try and live up. I will probably fail an innumerable amount of times, but don't worry, I will do my best every time. So, see you guys later. Bye.